From Sky Sports. So, Hayden, if you'd like to start us off.
Sure. Good afternoon, Brendan.
Hi, Aidan.
With a bit of injury news, please. What's the latest on Jamie Vardy? You think he might make this game?
No, he'll be fine for the game. He's just a little bit of soreness in that area, which he's had a few times, but he'll be okay.
Any better news on any of the other players?
No, it'll be pretty much the same squad. So Yonko may be close if he's not for Saturday. Then he could be available for the Monday game, which is great. So, but he's training, working well, and other than that, everyone else is good.
You'll have had a week-long break between your last game and the visit of United. Do you believe that things like that can influence the next game or the result of the next game? We were told by managers that rest is very important. Obviously, United have got a game tomorrow against Everton as well, Carabao Cup quarter-final.
Yeah, it's one of the only weeks that we've had a break since we've started. So it gives us a chance to recover some players, which can help, of course, and allow us to be a fraction fresher for the weekend. But also at the same time, if you're playing a midweek, you're managing your squad in order to retain the freshness, and then. And I'm sure when we play Manchester United at the weekend, they'll be fit and round to go as well.
Looking back over the recent history of the fixture between the two clubs, Leicester haven't beaten United in 6.5 years, going back, I think, 12 games in all competitions. Do you believe that trends like that can have a bearing on the next match, or is it something that you can perhaps use as motivation to go out and win the game, or extra motivation rather?
Yeah, it's the past, so you can't really affect it. So and there's no point worrying about it. That's always the notion I tend to have. I think that we went close in a couple of the games last year, weren't quite good enough to win the games, but each season it's another challenge for us. They've got a fantastic squad of players and got really talented players, but no, it should make for a really, really good game. And every game you have is an opportunity for you to get the result, and something that we've done pretty well so far this season.
What have you made of United so far? I mean, they've had their fair share of criticism, as always seems to happen to a club of that size, yet they find themselves pretty well placed to mount a title challenge, don't they? Yeah,
I think it's the expectation around the likes of Manchester United. It's one of the biggest clubs in world football. And they've been notoriously winning for many, many years. So, but I think Ollie's doing a fantastic job. They'll be disappointed they went out of the Champions League, of course, because that's a competition. The club is steeped in the history of European competition. So I'll be disappointed to go out of that. But they've still got a very, very group of talented players. He's done a very, very good job since he's gone in to manage that expectation. Look to sort of reshape the club in terms of its values and the behaviours and how they work on the field, and also he's looking to develop young players, which is something that is a real tradition of Manchester United. So I think he and his staff have done a very, very good job. I think the players, there's lots of young players in there who are talents, and of course like we've seen many occasions, they've got big quality. So yeah, they're always going to be a dangerous opponent.
Big announcement this morning from the club. You're due to train at your new training complex on Christmas Eve, I think I'm right in saying. How much are you looking forward to it, and how big a step will that be in the development in this club, do you feel?
Yeah, it's to be able to move to obviously one of the most advanced training facilities in the whole world is it's what we're all so excited by. I've been dropping in there over the last numbers of months, and now it's finally sort of arrived the time where we can look to go in. So there's always a sadness when you leave, your current training facility. There's been people here that have been here for so many years. Belvoir Drive here has been Leicester City since, I believe, 1964. So 56 years of a training facility here with so many great players and managers gone through. So that'll always be remembered. And the great legacy here is that our women's team, they will then come into here. So they've got a fantastic facility to come and work in. We will then move into our new facility, which, as I said, is it's arguably the biggest investment that the club has made, the new owners have made since they've been here. But it really underlines their commitment to develop and improving players and improving people. So we're so looking forward to it.
You'll have heard the criticism last night from your Wolves counterpart Nuno about referee Lee Mason. Can it be difficult sometimes as a manager to hold back on saying what you really think of officials, especially with the game, the stakes in the game so high in the modern game?
Yeah, I haven't heard his comments, to be honest. So, but yeah, I think in general, of course, there's always that sense of frustration after a game when you're speaking about officials and whatnot. So yeah, it can be difficult.
Just finally for me, a word on Celtic's historic quadruple treble. Was there a feeling of pride within you personally when it came through at the weekend? They'd done it because you were an integral part of that, obviously.
I was absolutely delighted that they'd done it. It's a big congratulations to Neil and John Kennedy and Stevie Woods and the staff that are there working with the players, and obviously the players themselves. You know, the people sometimes down here think it's easy for Celtic or Rangers in that matter to win games, but there's not too many teams that can go out with the pressure that you have at Celtic to win every game. So to then go and win 12 consecutive trophies, you know, it will never be done again, I'm pretty sure. And that's an incredible testament to the players. Like Scott Brown, the captain, he's an unbelievable captain and how he drives the team. Callum McGregor, Ryan Christie, James Forrest, unfortunately, has been out injured. Those guys have been amazing in that run, and it just really typifies the mentality of the team. And yeah, I was so happy that they did it, and obviously, of course, for Neil, because I think to be the first manager at Celtic or in Scotland to have won a treble both as a player and a manager, that puts him in that unique sort of bracket. So it's just an amazing achievement by all concerned, and the only one sadness in it is that the supporters weren't there to witness it, because you know they've celebrated a lot over these recent years and at Hampden winning trophies, and it's just a shame they couldn't be there.
Thanks, Brendan. Cheers.
Cheers, Aidan.
Okay, Rob Scanlon from Premier League, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Rob.
Hi,
Adam, you're not doing another striptease, are you?
It's not a very good striptease. I'm putting clothes on.
Go on, Rob.
That really, but just going back to the training ground, Brendan, if you don't mind, how much will it help things like recovery of your current players from games, and also the recruitment side for new players as well moving forward?
Well, firstly, on the recovery of players, the facilities are elite standard and for sports science and medical. And recovery is one of the, such an important aspect now in modern football. And especially now in the types of seasons that we're in, with games coming thick and fast, the intensity of the games, the speed of the games. So to have the facility there will just really, really aid the recovery for players in terms of resting as well. We have, the rooms and everything there for the players to rest. But so medically and sports science, it'll be of huge benefit. In terms of recruitment of players, yeah, it will really, really help. Of course, it will add to what we have. We will always be in the market for a certain level of player. That's the reality of it. You know, we don't have the 50, 60, 70, 80 million pounds to go and spend on one player. You know, it's pretty clear the market that the club is in. But to be able to bring in young talented players or other players at different periods of their career, I think when they see the facility and they see what they can come to work in every day, that will definitely help us, no doubt. And listen, the club have always attracted really, really good players, of course, whilst we've been here. But we're now moving into an elite venue, and that there will be a great help, I'm sure.
There's lots of eye-catching features, but who do you think is going to be first on the golf course?
Well, we're trying to leave that for Kun Top. We're trying to let him be have the first official tee off, if we can. I think when you spend over 100 odd million, then you should at least be the first one that can hit the ball on the first tee. But no, I think it's it's a working area for us. It'll be a huge help to us in our preparation for games. But to have 9 holes of golf surrounding it and the quality of the courses, it looks amazing. So that'll be nice from time to time for the players and staff to be able to use it.
Just finally from me, I've just been interviewing James Justin, who continues to impress on and off the field. I asked him who's kind of helped him the most these last 12 months and who's kept his feet on the ground. And he said Ricardo's actually helped him the most in learning from him and talking to him. And Wes Morgan's been the guy who sits next to him in the dressing room and has helped kept his feet on the ground. How pleased are you to have, I guess, a dressing room that works so well in that sense, that you've got players that help each other out and there's a good relationship, a good balance there with the senior and the younger players?
Yeah, well, it tells you everything about the environment and tells you everything about the spirit of the team. That arguably his closest rival for the position is someone who's helped him the most. He's just been incredible over this virtually a year of playing. From a manager's perspective, it's just been a dream, really. A player that's come out of League One, he has talent. He knew in that first period he's going to have to invest time in the training and understanding the level. But since he's gone in, he's just improved and gotten better and better and better. And to have a player who can play in a number of positions, but have that also robustness and resilience, he's just improving tactically all the time. You see him at the weekend against Son, who's a world-class player, how he was able to manage his speed and that changed in position in the game, and it's just seamless for him. So he's a young player that's really taken to the level. He's continuing to grow, and I think it's great. Like you say, he has the players and the senior players here are top professionals, so they're helping, which is great.
Thanks ever so much. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Rob. Thank you.
Okay, Jeff Peters, please.
Hi, Brandon.
Hi, Jeff.
Just one more on James Justin, if I may. Obviously, he's progressed hugely this year. Have you been surprised at his progress, and what do you see in him on the field that makes him stand out, and also off the field, given the tough year that he's had losing his father?
Yeah, I've got nothing but the biggest admiration for him. At some point in our lives, we all lose our parents. I, probably 9-10 years ago, lost my father, and I was a lot older than what James was. So for him to lose his father, just coming into the Premier League, someone who's been with him on his journey, right the way through, it's been remarkable. The resilience that he's shown. He's obviously had a lot of support from his family and from here at the football club, but still, you have to go out and you're under stress every game you play. And he's been absolutely incredible, and he never flinches really. He doesn't change. He's so reliable. He trains every day. He virtually never misses a training session. He's there in every game. And you see the second goal that we scored at the weekend. He's bombing up the outside whenever Mark Albrighton crosses it, and then in the second half later on, when he's on the other side of the pitch, he's running up the left side. So it's just a remarkable talent that he has. He's only going to get better and improve the more he plays at the level. His passing's getting better. He was really crisp and precise in his passing at the weekend. So yeah, and thankfully he's a very, very humble boy. He takes it all in his stride. He wants to improve, and it was the reason he came to Leicester, to become a better player.
The experienced players at Leicester have talked about your man management style and how it works for them. What do you do differently, if anything, with the younger players who probably have more to learn?
Well, I think the communication is absolutely critical with them, with any player. Listen, whether it's a senior player or a young player. I think that I've always been, my background was in youth development. So, and I think the modern young player, it's you could argue it's as difficult for them now as it's ever been for any player. You know, there's so much influence from social media and factors outside of football. So I think even more so now, you need to be able to communicate with players just to stabilise them. Because like I said, there's so many opinions in the game, and unfortunately I'm very thankful I grew up in the generation that I did, where I knew life before it all. But it's just trying to reassure them and reinforce a lot of the work without being misguided by opinions that don't really matter. And just also to let them understand that even if they're doing well, it's the pats on the back is what can hurt you. So yeah, I speak with all players at all ages, but in particular with young players, it's important to support them, whether they're in the team or out of the team.
You've obviously got the better of battles with the likes of Mourinho, Guardiola, Bielsa, Nuno and others this season. It seems you've adapted tactics this season, changed the approach in certain games for different opposition. What led you to make these alterations to your philosophies, if you like?
No, it's just experience. I think coming into the Premier League now, it's as diverse in playing styles and playing systems as what it's probably ever been. You know, you've got so many different things you have to prepare for in a game. Teams have different strengths, different qualities. I'm probably not as fixed as what I was when I was a younger manager. I'll always have a belief in how we want to work. The principles of our game won't change. I like to play with the dominance and like to be aggressive when we haven't got the ball and press the game. But there's certain games and certain types of opposition where you have to respect their qualities. But two, you also can surprise by playing maybe different systems against them. So yeah, it's a challenge that I love and enjoy as a coaching manager as such. And like I say, myself and the coaching team, along with the players, we believe and trust in our work, and that allows us to go into each game with a strategy to hopefully get a result. It doesn't always work, but it's done okay for us so far.
And how much of being a coach or manager is about learning from the bad times? For example, going on a poor run of results or getting a sacking from a job, and how much are you open to advice from those in football, like your staff wherever you're working, in terms of improving yourself in the job?
Yeah, I'm built that way. I'll always be a learner until the day I die. I've always been that. I've always had optimism because I trust myself in the work, but I also trust others. And I think the more experience you gain, the more learning takes place. And of course, the more you experience, then you deal with situations better. So for me, that's absolutely critical, the learning aspect. And that's something that, like I say, for as long as I've known, I've always felt I had this thirst to want to learn.
Thank you, Brendan.
Cheers, Jeff. Thank you.
Adam Whitty from Radio Leicester, please.
Oh, thank you, Brendan, for your time.
Hi, Adam.
On the training ground, what exactly? I'm just interested. I don't know whether this sounds overly simplistic. What does an outstanding training ground, the likes of which you will be going to, offer you that a very good training ground, like the one that you may well be leaving, offers you?
Well, I think in terms of you can look at it's primarily your sports science facilities and medical facilities that allow you to different. So currently here, for example, we'll go to this new facility which will have a swimming pool, will have a hydrotherapy, it's going to have altitude chambers, cryotherapy. It's going to have all the needs that you would have in order to recover and prepare. So that's probably one of the key aspects. I think what is also great is that it's a training ground that facilitates everyone. So from our juniors here at the club and the under sevens, under eights, right the way through to the first team. So it allows you all to be virtually in one site, so you can monitor and you can oversee and you can look. And we have what else do we have? We have a pitch where our second team can play, which will have 500 seat stadium. So all of these added things, and like I say, just the sheer scale of it. You know, as soon as you drive in, you see the indoor facility is absolutely incredible. The pitches for the academy, you know, young players will never play on better surfaces. There's a great area for our parents, the parents of our young players, to, you know, now the demands on parents of young players is even greater than it's ever been. You know, they have to be there so many hours, so many days in the week. So there's opportunity there for them to relax as well and enjoy the experience. And of course, there's a really nice media centre for you guys once you get the chance to go. So yeah, what we have here is it's really good, and it's a really historic training ground. I remember coming here when I was a young coach, and this was always a renowned, really good training facility, which since the owners have come in, they've developed it tenfold. It's amazing. But now we're going to this new site, and it just takes you into it's a different world altogether. So yeah, a world that we're really looking forward to being in.
And that different world you speak of, you are now joining surely the very elite in terms of the facilities that you have in the global game, and possibly even within global sport. I wonder if you think this is probably a defining moment in Leicester City's history and reality, something that you can look back on and say that Leicester took the next stage in what you are hoping to do with this club in terms of what Kun Top is hoping to do with the club as well.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's the most significant investment in the club's history. If you think of everything that they've done, the new owners, since they've been here, to then really push through with this and the need and want to produce a facility that's going to help improve players, but also people. You know, the essence of Leicester City, and I've really found this since I've been here, there's a genuine want to develop people and help people, whether you're a player or a staff member. And that's something which, like I say, that comes from the very top. So to have that at the top of your club, then of course we're all very lucky to be able to work here and experience that.
This sounds like a slightly strange question when you've just gone to Spurs and won 2-0 there. But of course, with the results that have come mixed in with some incredible performances this year, thinking about Fulham, Everton, for example, I wonder how much you are able to judge whether you feel your team is on form at the moment, in form, considering some of the results that have been brilliant and some of them which have been disappointing.
Yeah, I just think it's the way the nature of the season. You know, virtually every team will be in that position where you've won and won well and been on a run of games, and then all of a sudden you get a bump in the road. But I tend not to overanalyze it, if I'm honest. I think this is a season in particular where you know it's going to happen. Everyone is looking for that consistency. Everyone's looking to win every game, but you know that you can't. So we want to, and we would love to. And if we weren't human, I think we would win every game. But we're going to drop points, and we're going to lose games. So it's then about one. I've always said I try to ensure we don't lose our enthusiasm when that happens. So we were disappointed after Everton, but very quickly you have to move on, and you've got to get the players into the right frame of mind and get your tactical idea to them, to convince them to then go away to Tottenham and get a really good result and performance. So that's the nature of it. You can't get too disappointed. You have to be ready to move on.
And then finally from me, I'm sure you have watched the Man United Leeds game over the weekend, and watching it as a fan, I thought it was a brilliant game, end to end, loads of chances. I wonder what you made of it as a coach, somebody who sets teams up for a living, what you made of that free-flowing football, and what you were able to learn from Manchester United as a result of a game like that, which seems so different to what we've seen.
Yeah, I didn't learn so much from the game. Of course, when you're a neutral, you can enjoy it because the result doesn't really matter to you as such. Yeah, you know that in space, Manchester United have got incredible players, and Marcus Rashford, who's a really top player for me. So they've got players at the top end with speed and movement. Dan James coming back into the team again, you see his qualities. So yeah, and you know that Leeds don't change. They play how they play. We played them earlier on in the season, and so we know exactly. So from a neutral perspective, like you say, you watch the game, but of course you're looking at it from a tactical aspect as well.
Thank you for your time, Brendan. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there. Thank you to our broadcast colleagues. Merry Christmas to you all. We'll go